Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a secret. I see things and you can't see them. My title is, Did You Know That You Could Fly? The CSL global theme is timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. It's our outer vision that moves us forward to evolve. I'm using the book by Michael Beckwith called Spiritual Liberation: Fulfilling the Soul's Potential. And our spiritual principle comes from our declarations. It says, we believe in the direct vision of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of the individual. The Wright Brothers are credited with designing, building, and flying the first motorized plane. They certainly weren't the first thing to fly. The birds were the first. But they seemed to be fascinated by kites and why kites would fly when they were kids. There have been many other attempts for flight. There have been many people who had taken and designed wings of feathers and tried to flap like a bird to see if they could fly. But what drove Orville and Wilbur? They were driven by an inner vision, by intuition. The ability to see the impossible and to bring about an evolution. Intuition is the power to attain direct knowledge from God, and we call it wisdom. You might not be able to find a rational reason for what you know to be true or for your vision, and it may be hard to explain, but sometimes you just know. I don't know how I know, but I know. You cannot totally understand my vision, and I cannot totally understand yours. And if you're anything like me, you just can't stop yourself. And I've learned that I really don't want to. I can remember so many times when people told me, I just don't understand how you make your decisions. And sometimes they may have been right. But maybe you have, but it wasn't for me. Maybe you have always had and been encouraged to live out your vision and your dreams and your desires. If that is true, amen for you. But it wasn't that way for me. But I have found to trust spirit. And somehow, some way, I receive a word of encouragement that keeps me going. In the science of mind, our teaching, we call direct revelation vision. And I can hear in my imagination the question to the Wright brothers, do you think you can fly? The Wright brothers were not engineers. Neither of them went to college. They were bicycle repairmen. By trial and error, they continued. It was intuition, the inner vision, that propelled them to do something others thought was impossible. Discouraged sometimes? Yes, I'm sure. But the vision was not destroyed. They saw the impossible. Think about it. Have you ever had an aspiration for something and there is no example of what your vision is? Yet you have been called and you see and to perform something that may not have ever happened before, or maybe just hasn't happened in your life yet. It's not here yet. It is the vision that moves us forward. The divine spirit within us wants to express itself in and through as us. The vision, the intuition that is within us drives us by passion and by expectation. We're going to look at vision, division, revision, and provision. The vision. Because we are spiritual beings, we have a soul. And Beckwith writes, the soul's liberation gives us freedom to be who we are, not to emulate another, not to be a carbon copy. God only makes originals, and there is nothing outside of God. We have an inner voice called intuition, and we have an image of this vision. Sometimes we can clearly see, and sometimes we just have a little bit of the vision, a little at a time and step by step. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm glad that I didn't understand everything in that vision. In the God-given vision, there is power to accomplish it. See, we all have gifts and abilities. Yes, everyone, including you. They are factory installed. We are more than our bodies. We have a conscience. We share in the mind of the divine. And we can use the self-revelation of ultimate reality. There is infinite possibility. We see the impossible. It hasn't happened yet. Sometimes it's not a unique vision. Flying was a unique vision for the Wright brothers, but an inner vision is not only inventions. It can be your recovery. It can be healing. It can be peace of mind. It can be stopping self-harm. It can be stopping someone from hurting you. It might be getting through the holidays. It's your vision, and you need to know that I don't need to understand it for it to be your vision. I am talking about a vision in everyone that enlivens us. The ability to see possibility, to hear an inner calling. According to Beckwith, it was the soul's spiritual liberation that opens our divine potential, to pay attention to the inner voice that is guiding us. Spiritual liberation is the freedom to be that you were born to be. It's not about being changed. We are whole, perfect, complete in our spiritual being, but we individually and collectively show God's self-revelation. Remember, the butterfly is in the caterpillar. The tree is in the acorn. Not by imitation of another. It's all in you. It's all in you. It's the evolution that resides within you by opening to this inner vision. Think of it like an affirmation. We affirm what is true before we experience it in our life. Visions have two dimensions, for ourselves and for the world. Our visions should be personal as well as collective. Either extreme, too personal or too collective, is unbalanced. Beckwith calls the world around us that we create the beloved community. It's the same term used by Martin Luther King. The beloved community is a vision for a world that works for everyone. Beckwith writes, vision is intention and attention. Vision and attention. Intention, we set an objective in the direction that we are going, and hopefully you will write it down, your goal and the steps at how you plan to achieve them. And you pay attention. You make one step every day toward your vision, looking for signs and noticing that the vision unfolds all around us. Within the divine possibility, there is infinite potential. We see what appears to be impossible, but God is able to give you as far as you can see. The division. The challenge to our vision is division or diversion. Beckwith calls this period the dark night of the soul, after a title of a writing made by the mystic St. John of the Cross. There are times of discouragement. where we fear our vision is not going to happen. But division is useful. Division leads to revision, to look at the vision again. Sometimes we have to alter our flight plan for the conditions that are outside of our control. Beckwith writes, division occurs when we have either a myth of outer perfection or identity theft. The myth of perfection is waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mate, the perfect job, the perfect place. The time is now to move forward in your vision. Blame is only a diversion. You are perfect enough right now for your vision, or you wouldn't have the inner vision. Identity theft, being anyone else other than your authentic self. Being anyone else other than your authentic self. There is a power in being you. You were born to be you, no one else. No other person was born to be you, and all of creation needs you to be who you are. Your piece in the divine puzzle is one of a kind. Yes, we learn from others, but we should not be an identity thief. No matter how spiritual or how successful you believe that they are. Division and diversion. But the vision is not ruined. It's all works together for our good. According to Beckwith, evolved people have spiritual liberation and the release of the soul. You are evolved people. Divisions are where we get our strength for the journey, our vision muscles. I am sure there was discouragement for the Wright brothers, but the vision was not destroyed, and your vision is not destroyed. Just get started right now. Even if you feel it has been a lifetime, as long as there is breath in your body and a bleep on the monitor, you can. The Wright brothers unsuccessfully tried to fly in Dayton. They wanted more wind to fly, so they built a wind tunnel. But working daily to achieve their vision, they believed that Kitty Hawk in Northern Carolina on the Outer Banks had the strongest consistent winds. So they revised the plan to adjust to the conditions. The division, the diversion, then the provision. God provides. That is all you need to know. God provides for the vision. The provision lies and sees us and lets us see what is impossible. We have a creative impulse that pulls and pushes us. There is a strong inner calling to desire that inspires us, inspires to put breath in the vision. God provides a direct inward vision. Life is transformed to its highest potential when you live out your vision. It doesn't mean that there's only one vision for your life. Many of us have many, some that are personal, some for our families, some for our professional lives and the community as a whole. But I think, you've got to put the oxygen on first. Your own vision should be your priority. Let me introduce you to a modern day example of spiritual liberation. Isaac Lindsky. Isaac is an exceptional guy. He graduated from Harvard with a degree in computer science and mathematics at 19. In the 1990s, Isaac was a character, Weasel, on the TV show Saved by the Bell, The New Class. He clerked for Sandra Day O'Connor and for RBG. He is now a CEO of a construction company in Florida. He is the father of four. Isaac started going blind at 13. And by 25, he was totally blind. He was the first blind Supreme Court clerk. Isaac is author of the book Eyes Wide Open. And he says, it's not about sight or blindness. It is about vision. Our perspectives are limited by our past experiences, our biases, and our emotions. He gave a TED Talk that is called, What Really Are You Creating for Yourself? He says, reality isn't something you perceive. It's something you create in your mind. Can you say amen? In your mind. He encourages us to let go of the excuses, the assumptions, the fears, and accept the awesome responsibility of being creators of our own reality. He says, fear distorts your reality. With fear, anything is better than the uncertain. Fear fills the void at all costs, passing on and on the dread, but just staying with something that we know. Offering up the worst in place of the ambiguous, substituting assumptions for reason, better known as making it up. He says, to make your vision come true, you must hold yourself accountable for every moment, every thought, and every detail. See beyond your fears, recognize your assumptions, harness your internal strength, silence the internal critic, correct your misconceptions about luck and about success, accept your strengths and your weaknesses and understand the difference. Open your hearts to bountiful blessings. He quotes Helen Keller. Helen Keller in the 1890s was a political activist. She was blind and also deaf. She was the first deaf and blind person to graduate from Harvard's Radcliffe College. Helen said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight, but no vision. Isaac says, going blind was a profound blessing because blindness gave me vision. Isaac is an example of spiritual liberation. His soul has been released. There is a reason to celebrate. If you have had a mistake, you can do a retake. Change your thinking to change your course. Did you know that you can fly? There's a still small voice, but it should be the loudest voice in your inner being. If we listen, just keep going. I don't think we will ever be satisfied until we experience this inner vision. Beckwith writes about happiness. He says there are 4 C's to happiness: conversation, company, challenges, and commitment. We do it in community, but you just hang on in there. We are provided with an inner vision for this vision. We might forget the description, but we will never forget the image. What I have learned is that when I pray for the outcome. See, I want to pass the trial and error stage, and I want to go directly to the manifestation. Am I the only one? See, I pray for the plane, but God has given us the ability to co-create. I saw this affirmation the other day from Mile High Church. It said, the future is not some place you are going to, but one that we are co-creating. Consider the Wright brothers and Isaac. For the Wright brothers, nature provided the bird and the air for the plane to fly. A vision of possibility by Orville and Wilbur created the plane. Let me put it another way. If you feel that your desires about your vision are not happening, consider that you might be praying for a chair when divine intelligence has given you a tree. We are co-creators. The chair is in the tree, but we make the chair. The statue is in the marble. The sculptor removes everything but the image that is inside the marble. We co-create. With spiritual liberation, as our soul realizes its freedom to be us, we can see the inner vision and we can co-create. See, I know you have a secret too. You can see things that I cannot see. It's your highest possibility, just like the Wright brothers and Isaac. So I have a question for you. Did you know that you could fly? You can replace fly with your personal vision. Did you know you can? And you get to fill in the blank. Don't worry, Spirit provides all the provision for the vision. And finally, I want to leave you with the closing words from the book of R. Kelly. But now I know the meaning of love. It's leaning on the everlasting arms. If you can see it, you can do it. It's just if you only believe it. There's nothing to it. I believe that I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. I spread my wings and fly away. I believe that I can soar. I see me running through the open door. I believe that I can fly. And I believe that you can fly. Do you believe that you can fly? And so it is.